All right. I'm watching to see if it
Okay,
actually happens.
we should be live. I don't know if anybody's watching, but
Yep, we got it.
uh, let's see. We're getting yeah. Here we go. We're getting started in just a moment. There we go. Ooh, why did that leave two comments? Oh, I see. One to it left one comment to Zoom and one comment to YouTube. Ah, see,
Uh,
slick,
yeah. We,
slick. Hey, six watching. Awesome. Hey, everyone. Good to see you.
yeah, nice to see everybody
Oh,
popping in.
look. Hey, it's Roger. It's Bob. How you guys doing?
And of course, Mike has the control panel, so he can see that. All I can see is anybody that's saying hello in the YouTube chat.
Oh,
So,
that's
hello,
what
Cyber.
that's what I'm saying too. I'm seeing
Yeah.
the YouTube
Oh,
chats. Yeah.
oh, okay. Well, I'm seeing hello, Cyber Bob City and Go
Yep.
for Technology.
Yep.
So,
So we can right in the middle.
ah,
Geek.
Brett, you made it.
There you
Martine.
go. Oh, this is awesome. Awesome to see everyone.
Yeah. Thank you all for showing up.
Yeah. Well, they're all here for you, Chuck. They're here to see Mac Voices.
I,
That's what
I
they're here
seriously
for.
doubt that.
You
I
know, I'm kind of
seriously doubt that.
I'm excited. We haven't done. I looked. We haven't done a Macstock live stream since Macstock 7. Macstock 7 was the last one we did. In fact, the very
Was
last live stream we did, uh, Dave was kind of co-hosting it live with me there in the Macstock studios at my office. But I didn't do it there because, well, I'm a guest on Mac Voices today. Is really what's happening. So if I'm going to be a guest on Mac Voices, this is where I'm going to do it from, and so that's why I figured I'm going to do it from here.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Hey, Marty.
Soup Day,
Yeah.
Soup Day. Oh, hey, let's test our chat comment thing here. If I
Okay.
do this, yeah, see now we can have the comments over here on the right.
Ah,
We'll be over
nice.
here on the left. Comments will hide. We can add comments like this. I don't know why they're so. Why is it tiny? Here, let's make that bigger. There we go. That's better. Can't wait for some Macstock. Me neither. Hey,
Yeah.
there he goes.
Yeah.
My Bob's comment right across your face there, Chuck.
Well, that's
So everyone watching, hey, how you doing? Um, we did a little run of the scenes before I set up all these scenes. I didn't give Chuck any indication of what I was doing. I just set up all these scenes, and we did a quick run through of them before we started recording live here. Um, you tell me when you're ready to get started, Chuck. You're the host today.
I
This is Road to Macstock, hosted by Chuck Joyner.
well this yeah, this is a little bit different. This is gonna be fun. So I'm
Yeah.
good to go if you are. Mike, what do we have in the chat? We have yeah, we have a bunch watching so far. So um I've got 3 minutes after the hour. Do you want to give it a couple more, or do you want to just launch?
Oh, we can give it a couple more. Oh, that will let me add a quick comment here. Um, if you have a question, I'm gonna narrate my comment as I type it. How about that? If you have a question about Macstock that you'd like us to address, you probably don't need me to say this out loud, do you?
Oh, it's fine.
I'm gonna say please preface it with a Q. In fact, a Q colon, and that's kind of common nomenclature now. In fact, Roger can back that up. And that's kind of common nomenclature now to put a Q colon in front of it. And the reason is in the thanks there. Now I should actually post it, huh? The reason is in what I can see for the chat, I can filter them. so I can quickly filter by that Q colon and see only the questions without having to scroll through the regular conversation that's been going on. Martine is taking care of his vegetables. Oh, I thought he was eating vegetables. No, his vegetables in his garden. I get it. All right.
Yeah. I was seemed a rather random comment, but hey, that's okay. If vegetables are heavy on your mind, by all means.
Speaking of yard work, so I got up extra early today to mow the lawn. That was how I started my Macstock day.
Oh,
And Martine might like this. The milkweed is really spreading and coming up nice and tall in our backyard. And folks may know this, but monarchs love milkweed. So I'm really looking forward to those pods popping and the monarchs starting to show up. They did last year. So
hmm, nice, nice. I can't say I did anything that exciting this morning. It was, work as usual. So
exciting
playing
is
catch up.
an interesting way to put it, Chuck. I guess it was
Well,
exciting. It was exciting when I hit that branch. That was exciting.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
will you be buying a new lawnmower soon?
Not for that reason, but perhaps
Uh,
the right rear wheel of my mower goes like this as I mow. So
oh, that's not good.
yeah,
Mm.
here, let me add this comment up here because uh, since we're talking about it, I loved when I saw monarchs. We don't have them here that big. Um, it's interesting when folks come out to Macstock and see, oh, beep, lightning bugs.
Mm.
I have to remember I got to let the comment go away before I switch back to us. Otherwise, it sits there on our faces. Um, lightning bugs. Not everybody has seen those. In fact, some of the folks from the West Coast are like, "Oh, lightning bugs," and they're chasing them around out there. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
they'll be
we're all
coming out
just
soon.
we're all just kids at heart,
We are
That's
kids at heart.
we can't help it.
I love lightning bugs.
We usually don't get them until just about the first week in July here.
That's about it.
But it's
Yeah.
it's I don't know, it's like somebody waves a green flag and they all just pop and start flashing. But until then, it's very, very quiet. Yeah, I don't know. This is what happens in pre-show and post-show discussions, folks. Things that have nothing to do with anything. It's just, you know.
That's no,
Mm.
seriously, this is what happens when Chuck and I get on a phone call.
Well,
And
yeah, that's true too.
we
Mm.
have to be very, very careful. It's usually, I mean, it's always Macstock related, but we have to be very, very careful to keep it on point. Otherwise, we end up, cutting into work time, cutting into work time or cutting into client time or what have you. So, and anyone listens to my podcast, we live stream the recording process. And the first guaranteed, no matter how quickly we intend to get to actually recording the show, guaranteed we're going to spend a good 20, 25, 30 minutes prior to recording just jawing about whatever pops into our empty noggins. So come join for Mac Guys Only,
Yeah,
youtube.com/FMEOTV, and hear the
yeah.
vapid ramblings of Mike.
And Mac Voices Live, we kind of do the same thing. That's why we created After Dark, because
Mm,
the conversations, you think, okay, everybody's got to be tired by the end of the show, and oh no, sometimes we just keep right on going,
just keep right on
not
going.
on topic, but we keep right on going. Mm.
Oh, Brett's on a conference call. No names. I'm not going to put his name up on screen just in case anybody else in his office is watching. He's got his office door closed, so everyone thinks he's on a conference call.
Well, you are on a conference call,
Well,
you
we
know.
are we are technically on a conference call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. What do you think?
So we good to go? I
Get
think we
started?
go. I think we've got a nice lot of people. Thank you all for coming. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
This is awesome.
So and this will be obviously Mike will have this still live here on the Macstock channel on YouTube. I'll have it on Mac Voices Live in the very near future, and we'll just keep on going and see everybody at Macstock.
Yeah, absolutely. You give me a little countdown when you're ready to get started, and I'm going to do my best. I said this before we went live. I'm going to do my best producerial. I'm going to be the best producer I can here. Set up a bunch of scenes, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
All
That's the
right.
beauty of live, right, Mike?
Beauty of live.
See what happens. All right.
Live
Well, then
happens.
I'll give you I'll give you a longer countdown than normal. I'll go four, three, two. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Well, not exactly, because this time this is Mac Voices Live uh, on the Macstock Conference and Expo channel on YouTube. We're recording a live Road to Macstock with Mr. Mike Potter, the organizer of Macstock. So, and Mike is not only the guest, he's also the producer of this show. So it may look a little bit different, sound a little bit different. That's the beauty of the whole thing. Mike, are you there? Earth to
I
Mike.
I am here, Chuck. Thank you so much for having me on. This is amazing, and thank you for joining me live on the Macstock channel. This is great.
We're going to be spending half the show thanking each other for being on each other's channels,
Right,
feeds, whatever
right,
it is. So,
exactly.
we always like to check in with Mike just a little bit closer to Macstock. This time, we probably won't be wrapping up the road to Macstock with Mike like we often do, but we thought it might be a good idea and maybe just a little fun to do a road to Macstock with Mike a month out. Because as we record this, we're 1 month away from Macstock 9 in Crystal Lake, Illinois. And so that I want to find out what's new, what other surprises Mike. Well, he always has surprises he won't tell us about, but the ones he might reveal to us is what I'm interested in. So, Mike, first of all, thank you for having me here as well. Um, how does what's
There's a
that?
surprise. There's a surprise
Oh,
behind my
there's a
hand.
surprise. Okay, I thought you were showing off your ring or something. I
No,
wasn't
no,
sure.
no. I'll do it this way. There, surprise behind my hand.
Okay.
Just a small
Um,
one.
Yeah, so this first of all, this is really I like this because we have a number of people in the chat room on YouTube, so they can throw in questions live at us and see what happens. What can you tell us about Macstock that we don't already know?
Hmm. Um, well, I just put out a newsletter this last weekend, Chuck, and a lot of what we might talk about here on Road to Macstock is stuff that I announced in the newsletter. But one thing I couldn't quite announce yet in the newsletter because they were still working it out is the hotel block has been extended, which is
Hmm.
super, super important. About 2 weeks ago, the hotel block actually closed and no rooms left. No rooms left at the inn. And um, I mean, the day it closed, I scrambled to create an other hotels in the area page for the Macstock site so that people who wanted to still come could at least find some lodging out there. While I was working with the hotel in the weeks since, and fortunately, there are some other blocks that didn't quite get full yet, and so they were able to reallocate some rooms. And so we have some rooms again at the Holiday Inn, which is great. And not only do we have rooms at the Holiday Inn, but we also have that block extended now. So it was going to end on June 6th, but it has been extended to June 27th. I had to look at my notes. June 27th. That was just confirmed the other day after I sent out the newsletter. So if anybody was holding off getting their ticket for Macstock because they said, "Oh, I can't get a room at the hotel," and they didn't want to, go searching around for rooms elsewhere, we have an expanded block of rooms now at the hotel waiting for you to book your room, get your weekend pass, and come join us July 11th, 12th, and 13th at Macstock. So I'm excited about that. That was kind of a bummer when that block closed. I'm like, oh boy, now what? But here we are. We've got rooms again.
Well, Yeah, and I guess, maybe I'm just looking for the glass half full, but that to me says something about the popularity of Macstock and, how many friends we're going to have there. So, and it's even
Hmm.
better though if you can come and get under that one roof with everyone, not have to worry about driving to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because it just means you get more of that. I don't know, Mike. I'm not sure the proper term would be unofficial time with the Macstock attendees, but the non-scheduled time. How's that? That sounds better.
The extended hallway track time. How about
Yes,
that? Yes.
yes, that
And that's
works.
what it
That
turns
works.
into. The entire well, there is the hallway, of course, but the entire bar area and restaurant area of the hotel and all the seating around there and on the first floor and other floors of the hotel just become this extended hallway track for uh, meeting. I heard Allison say on Road to Macstock that you just published that I should probably officially put the hallway track in the list of sessions on Macstock site. And I'm thinking about that. How can I do that? I'm not going to do it for this year, but maybe I'll put that for next year because
Yeah,
that's what it turns into. Yeah.
and the hallway track is always fun because again, Allison made, I think, a good point that you always leave plenty of time in between so there can be those informal interactions as well as the formal presentations. And that's, I think, something that just adds to the value of Macstock is the opportunity to take the people that you meet, this you're sitting beside or sitting in front of or behind, and take a little time to get to know them, talk to them, and not feel like you're really missing anything as far as the formal programming goes.
That was one of the things we learned throughout the years. So this is Macstock 9. We've had 11 if you include the virtual Macstock from 2020 and the kind of micro Macstock from 2021. So we've had 11 total, but this is the ninth official in-person Macstock. And lessons are learned every single year. I pick up something that I should do differently for the next year, and sometimes it's determined. The lessons I learn are determined by the venue. Sometimes they're determined by other factors. But one of the things that I learned throughout the years was let's make sure we have enough breathing room in between the talks, and so that's what we do. It's not excessive, but in between the 45-minute talks, we have 15-minute breaks, which is a good, decent break time. And then after each workshop, our workshops are 90 minutes. So after each workshop, we have a half an hour or 30-minute break uh, before the next session starts. And the workshops are, gosh, they went over so well last year. We had them on an entirely separate day. We had them on Friday. Well, this year we have 6 workshops instead of 4, and we've got them spread out throughout the weekend. So we have one in the morning each day to kick off each day, and we have one in the afternoon each day to kick off the afternoon. So, yeah, count on plenty of break time and hopefully plenty of time to, yeah, get to know the folks around you and make some new friends.
You use two terms there that I know we've talked about. The one, and that's virtual Macstock,
Mm.
because of the pandemic. But what did you just call it? Micro Macstock or mini Macstock?
Yeah. Well, I kind
Um,
of made that up just now on the fly, so there you go.
yeah, but I like it because you're right. This is the ninth major one, but to your credit, Macstock could easily have gone the way of a number of other conferences after the pandemic, and you just would not let it die. You found ways to keep the Macstock fans and maybe even call them the Macstock faithful together, interacting, and you eased us all back into it, which I think was the best approach because again, there are a lot of conferences out there and a lot of events that they just folded up their tent and said, "We're done." Didn't even
Yeah,
try.
yeah.
So, a lot of you take a bow for that one. Take a bow for that one.
No, I'm not going to take a bow for that. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of scary work. Not to kind of dredge all this back up again, but that whole COVID thing was very scary for someone like me who's organizing a meetup. Even when we jumped from 2021 to 2022 and we met again in the McHenry County College. I mean, you remember the, I remember, it's like a nightmare. The lengths I went to make sure that everyone got the type of seating they wanted. They got the distance type. Some people were okay with being near other attendees. Some people wanted some distance. When you have limited seating, and 300 seats is limited when you need to spread people out. When you have limited seating, that's a very tricky thing to navigate. And then 2021 was similar to that in that we were just kind of dipping our toes into the water and saying, well, let's get a few people together if we can, if they're comfortable doing it, and we can keep them spread out throughout. We were at Stage Left Cafe at the Woodstock Opera House then. We can spread them out a little bit and kind of give them the room that they need. And oh gosh, what a mess. I'm so glad that's currently behind us.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Agreed. Agreed. So one of the other things that we always have to talk about, and even this may evolve between now and the time that Macstock actually occurs, are the evening events, which are some are quasi-sanctioned by Macstock, some are just completely impromptu. Do we have anything yet on the schedule that would meet either one of those criteria?
Well, there's so the official evening things kind of happen as people bring them to me and say, hey, can we do this? And the first evening thing that's happening was actually brought to me by our our partner sponsor Ecamm. Uh, Katie from Ecamm came to me and said, "Hey, Mike, we were thinking about maybe doing a little mixer on Friday night, a little meet and greet, a chance for people to kind of gather and maybe get some desserts and some soft drinks or whatever, and just have a nice time together, a nice opportunity to, um, in a more casual setting, get to not only meet the Ecamm fam and the folks who are coming from Ecamm are Katie Fox and Doc Rock, but also maybe get to meet some of the other Macstock attendees that you didn't get a chance to talk to earlier in the day. So they're throwing a dessert party. They're calling it Sweet Connections, and that's going to be Friday night. Let's see if I get this right here. Friday night, Sweet Connections. It's going to be in Ecamm Studios. So they have one of the rooms that's just outside the main ballroom. We're calling that Ecamm Studios, where they can set up and demo their equipment and software all weekend long. Ecamm Studios, and the room next to it, they're actually technically Acorn uh, 1 and 2. The room next to it is where we're going to have the food set up. So that's going to be Friday, the 11th, and that's going to be uh, 7:30 to 8:30 on Friday. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is now become a regular happening at Macstock, and that is Mac Geek Gab recording an episode of Mac Geek Gab live at Macstock. And that's going to be happening Saturday night. Um, this is going to be fun. Saturday night is interesting because Saturday there's another event happening at the Alara Convention Center in addition to Macstock, and it's a wedding. So that's why we're getting out of our sessions earlier on Saturday. We're getting out at 4 p.m. so that they can. This, this is what. Oh, okay. Inside baseball here.
Please.
They need to tear down half of Macstock's ballroom. So we need to be out by 4. They need to tear down half the ballroom, pull the dividing wall, set up for a wedding in that room. After the wedding's over, they need to yank the wall back, reset up Macstock's ballroom so that we can have Mac Geek Gab in there at 8:30 Saturday night. And then while we're watching Dave and Pilot Pete and Adam and having a blast with them, the wedding reception is going to be going on in the next ballroom down the hall from Macstock. So, as Martine just said in the chat room, wedding crashers. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Well, Okay, so are they going to have are either party going to have armed guards so that the wedding people can't come in Macstock and Macstock can't go into the wedding
I
party?
have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be
Okay.
interesting. There's always
Yeah,
something at
that's
Macstock, and that's this year's thing is there's going to be a wedding going on. It's just Saturday though. Friday, Sunday unaffected. It's only Saturday that this is going on. So yeah,
okay. So pro tip, bring along some clothes that look like you would wear to a wedding, and then you can go into the wedding and you
I
know.
didn't say that. I didn't say that.
It was just a thought, Mike. It was just a thought.
Now, okay, speaking of, so in the chat room just now, Marty said, don't throw a dessert party. That's a very, very good point. But since Marty made that witty comment, I should also mention, and this is a TBD thing, and Marty doesn't know this yet because I haven't replied to his email, but we're going to have another Vision Profiles meetup, just like we had last year. So that was a lot of fun. I don't know if Marty really anticipated, Marty and Eric, by the way, or Bolden, I don't know if they anticipated quite what was going to happen. You know, if they were going to have one or two people say, yeah, I'm interested in the Vision Pro, or if we were going to get what did happen. And I mean, we had a bunch of people crammed in that room, all trying out the Vision Pro and bringing their own Vision Pros in and testing them out and sharing them with people and all that. Well, we're going to do it again. Little bit of a TBD on that because of a scheduling conflict with the room that we want to use for the Vision Profiles meetup. So, Marty, I'm going to send you an email about that. But that's the only official evening stuff going on. Of course, the bar area is going to be open at the hotel just like it was last year. With any luck, we will not have a thunderstorm take out the power to the hotel like happened. That was, honestly, that was fun. As long as you weren't in the elevator when that happened, it was fun, right? Sitting there in the dark, just chatting with people. I don't think the conversation has changed. I think everything just kept
Hmm.
going as it was going when we had power. But there you go. We had an impromptu power outage last year, and hopefully not this year. But if we do, we do.
Yeah, I got a better appreciation for Midwest U.S. thunderstorms that night. You guys have some real bangers. It was it was impressive. It was impressive.
Oh, yeah. Martine just had a good point that the soccer fans were not happy. That's true. That's true.
Oh,
There
that's I
was
forgot
a
about that.
there
Yes.
was a pretty critical game going on at that time, and sorry.
Yeah, people were trying to get it on their phones and hoping for what cell service. Yes, I'd forgotten about that, Martin.
Actually,
You're
my
right.
wife was watching the game up in our room, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
So.
there you go. So that's Friday night and Saturday night. Anything planned for Sunday night that you can talk about yet?
There isn't anything official planned for Sunday night. We're going to wrap up. I think what's going to happen is just what happens every year at Macstock, and that is we're going to wrap up with our last session. Nobody's going to want to leave the room. I'm going to be scrambling to pack everything up and get it into storage before the night goes on, and people are going to just move in what has sometimes been dubbed that Macstock herd, just kind of all pick up and either go out to dinner, head to the bar area, just hang out and just enjoy each other's company for as long as we can before we all have to head home again.
I forgive me. I think I messed it up. I'm thinking the wrong way. So we have Thursday night and Friday night spoken for. Saturday night is what I should have asked.
No, Friday night, we have Friday night and Saturday night spoken for.
Friday, okay. So
Maybe I
Thursday night not
misspoke.
spoken for.
Yeah, Friday night
I don't
is
know.
Friday. I don't either. Friday night is Sweet Connections, Ecamm's dessert party.
That's right.
Saturday night is Mac Geek Gab Live. We've got a little TBD on the Vision Profiles meetup, and yeah, those are the official things.
Okay.
Thursday
All right.
night, we are going to have pre-registration. We did that last year. We set up the registration desk early. The hotel was kind enough to give us that space the night ahead so that we could take some of the burden off of our volunteers Friday morning as people are showing up and saying, "Hey, where's my T-shirt? Where's this? And how do I get in? And where's the schedule and all that stuff." So we're going to have kind of a pre-registration um, Thursday evening for like an hour or so. If you get there early and you can come on down, I'll announce the actual times we're going to do this in the Macstock newsletter as we get closer. But if you get in early and you've got a couple minutes and you can come down and pre-register, that would be amazing. And here's the hidden thing that I showed you. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of fun. If you come down and you pre-register early, everyone who pre-registers early gets a Macstock AirTag key fob. See, so
Ooh.
that's just a piece of foam in there right now. But this will hold your AirPods, not AirPods, AirTags,
Tags.
AirTags, AirTag key fob holder with the little Macstock logo on it. See that? Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and what I
Nice.
like about this one is it's got a little snap on it. So you unsnap it and you can stick your AirTag in there.
Mm.
So it holds it nice and secure. You look at everybody watching me fumble with this. So it holds your AirTag nice and secure, and then just boop, snaps it in there. So
Well,
yeah,
that is nice.
kind of neat little thingy there.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice. So you can clip that on your luggage going home in case the airline loses your luggage. You can clip it inside your luggage. Don't put it on the outside. Put it inside your luggage, and then you can find it when they misplace it.
Yeah. I love your optimism on that.
Well,
Uh, I want to put in right quick a little plug for the other Road to Macstock shows, the ones that have already been out,
yeah,
and I still have a bunch of them in the can. And I'm still chasing down a couple presenters because of schedule conflicts and all. But so the Road to Macstock will continue, and if you haven't heard from a presenter that you see listed, just give it time. We will get them there, even if I have to, put a gun to somebody's head to get them to
oh,
tell you
don't
what
do
they're going
that.
to talk about. Well, metaphorically. Um, but I mean, I love these interviews because I get to. First of all, it challenges my interviewing skills, and I think it challenges the guests too. We don't ask them to do the presentation. In fact, we ask them not to. We ask them to talk about the presentation. And sometimes those conversations are pretty short and sweet because they don't want to give anything away. And other times they get a little bit more expansive. You just never know. This year we also had, as Mike said, Doc and Katie on from Ecamm, who are going to be sponsoring the event, sponsoring the what was it, Mike? Sweet Connections. I
It
have that right?
is. Katie's calling it Sweet Connections Friday night. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that if you don't know who either one of them are, make sure you watch that episode and find out because just with the two of them there, it's going to be fun. If nothing else happens, it's going to be fun just having the two of them there. So,
A couple of the
and
nicest
between
people in the world. Absolutely.
absolutely, but I should say too, between now and then, if Mike lets me know, and we can get anybody else on that's doing anything else or that anything else develops at Macstock, we want you fully prepared and aware of who you're going to talk to and why you should come and what you can expect to learn.
Y- You know, um, One of the announcements I made in the newsletter is the digital pass being available again. It's something that we do make available every year. It's not a live stream. We did it live 2021 for Virtual Macstock. We did a live stream. And 2020 was a live stream, obviously. Um, but it's an opportunity to watch Macstock's talks after the fact. So after the weekend is over, after Mike gets a chance to edit all the video down to release it to the digital pass, and I know Chuck knows what I'm talking about when I say that, editing video down. But I'm going to aim for 30 to 45 days after Macstock, hopefully sooner, thanks to the wonderful efforts of Roger Harmon, who is our production volunteer there at Macstock. Um, uh, Certainly, the work that he does there on site throughout the weekend goes a very long way toward making my job easier when it comes to editing the digital pass. But if you can't make it to Macstock, digital pass is available now. and some of the behind the scenes stuff that we've done to make that a little bit better this year, and to make the in-person experience a little bit better. I've once again invested in new tech for Macstock. We got an all new Mac for the production desk that just arrived like 3 days ago, and so that's ready to go. I have a new stage lighting kit. You know, if you recall at the Holiday Inn last year, the lighting in the room was kind of strange. We could kind of get it all the way down, we could get it halfway, we could get it all the way up, but it was very difficult to manage the lighting, and that's something I've been experimenting with for a few months now, is how to make that better. And so what I did is I purchased a stage lighting kit for on stage to help, you know, light the presenter so that we can see them better, because we do want to see our presenters, but also allow us to lower the light, I hope, lower the light in the room enough. Sometimes I don't know until we try it, but lower the light in the room enough so that the presentations on screen can be seen better as well. So I invested in that new stage lighting. I made a lot of tweaks to the scenes for Ecamm to make Roger's job easier. One of the things I know Roger will remember. Do you mind if I do a little quick demo here, Chuck?
No, 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 go for it. Go
I'm going
for
to
it.
show something from last year. So I had these scenes set up in Ecamm so that, and they were static. I mean, they were literally graphics I created in Affinity Designer. I think I used Affinity Designer, not Photo, for them, but just static graphics I created that showed who was coming up next. So you would see something like this, and this background that you see here with Allison's name and Mike's name is just, that's all static text generated in Affinity Designer. And then we would have a little countdown over here on the right with a camera view and all that. Well, I created an all new scene for Roger to make his life a little bit easier, and it's a single scene, and we're going to have the information for the upcoming stuff in little folders so that he can just turn on or off the folder. So this is the new scene that we created, and it looks very, very similar, but the text that you see, Marty's name, your name, the countdown, the date and times in the bottom right hand corner, those are all set up dynamically within the scene so that we can turn them on or off based on what he needs to show in this scene at any given time. So I think that's going to make things a lot easier for him, so he's not juggling 6 different scenes, or actually it would be, yeah, 6 different scenes, 2 for each day, right? So he's not juggling through the scenes. There's one scene, he just has to turn on or off what he wants to show. So, yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna tell Marty something. Marty just left a comment in the chat room that it looks like liquid glass. Marty, I created that scene before the WWDC presentation the other day. So just so you know, uh, I I was playing with that long before we saw anything from Apple. But yeah, it is kind of like it. It's kind of like liquid glass in that in the background we've got this kind of semi transparent block with just a thin line around it to give it some definition, and that's what that is. So uh, I'm hoping that will help at the production desk and make things a little bit easier there too. And a lot of what you see presented on screen is what ends up in the digital pass as well. So yeah, that's that's what we're doing tech wise and production desk wise. And oh, one other thing, one last thing, and this is kind of important too. Everybody knows Brian Henson. Brian does an amazing job every year helping out at Macstock. I mean, he starts reaching out to me months ahead and says, "Okay, let's start talking about what we need to do." Part of that is because he also does people's taxes, and he needs to make sure he fits his Macstock ideas in between all of his tax work. But um, last year he took on MC duties, but it was kind of spur of the moment. It was a last second thing where he took on those duties, and he wasn't fully prepared for them. This year, Brian is officially going to be Macstock's MC throughout the weekend for introducing speakers and kind of keeping people on top of what's going on in between our presentations and when we need to be back in the room and all that kind of stuff. So by officially being the, I'll still be there too. You'll still hear from me, unfortunately, but um, uh, by officially being or handling the MC duties at Macstock, he'll be much, much better prepared as he introduces each speaker throughout the days of the weekend. So, um, you know, he's been doing that on and off for years. He's such an indispensable part of Macstock Weekend, and I'm so glad that he said that he could do that for sure, because it really does take a load off my shoulders when he can step up and fulfill those duties for me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Brian has been phenomenal. The very first Macstock. I did. You and I had met for the first time when I came to Macstock. Brian and I met for the first time, and I know universally among the speakers, everyone said Brian made them feel so welcome, just like you did, that it was not like you were at a conference. It was just like you were meeting new friends, and
Mm-hmm.
that was just fantastic.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
good. I'm
absolutely.
glad that's all working out. Um, Blake in the chat room said, "Will the digital pass allow for live viewing of Macstock?" And Blake, you may have missed that when Mike was talking, but no, unfortunately, they he don't live stream Macstock just because there's too many things that can go wrong. And Macstock really is more about being in person. If you can't absolutely can't be there, you can get the digital pass and benefit from the knowledge. But Macstock is at least 50% fellowship, communications, connection with other attendees.
Oh,
So
at least. At least. And I mean, at a very, very basic technical level, it's 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 the hotel Wi-Fi or internet. I mean, let's just be honest. They did upgrade
yeah,
everything this year, by the way. So that's good news. We're not there yet. We don't know how well this upgrade's going to work, but they did tell me that everything's been upgraded this year. New Wi-Fi access points have been installed. So we'll see how well that works. But this is actually a really interesting discussion to have at Ecamm Studios with Katie and Doc. If you happen to get a chance to go in there at some point during the weekend, they are going to be live streaming from Macstock. There will be some opportunity to see some live stuff from Macstock, I understand, from Ecamm Studios throughout the weekend. You may even see me on it. You may see Chuck on it. They've invited Chuck to come and do some of his Mac Voices interviews from their studios as well. So, uh, one of the interesting things, or one of the interesting discussions to have with them, is how they, as a company that specializes in software that makes it easy for people to live stream, how they get around limitations of things like poor hotel Wi Fi. And they do have solutions for it. So that's a really good discussion to have with them. And perhaps we'll be able to use some of that knowledge that I glean from discussing with them these topics to bring a live stream to Macstock in the future. But no, I'm sorry, Blake, it's not this year. It's an after the fact, or it's a chance to watch the talks later.
and I got to point out you've just stated so much of the obvious, but what we're doing now is being done through Ecamm, uh, out through Zoom, out to Ecamm to YouTube.
Mm.
What Mike is going to be doing as part of creating the digital pass will be done in Ecamm. The slides he was showing, between presentations are Ecamm. So much you can do with that program. So by all means, get with Doc and Katie, and don't think it's not for you. That was one of the things we talked about on the road to Macstock. That, yeah, for podcasters, it's phenomenal. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it for your, your grandparents or your church or your civic organization or whatever. Yeah, There's just it's not difficult, and it ends up being just a lot of fun, especially if you are a member of the Macstock audience, because that means you're automatically a tech person at any level, and you
Mm.
can do it. Believe me.
Yeah. And as much as I'm sure they would love us to continue talking about the product. Um, I, I will let them share some of this with everyone at Macstock. In fact, their workshop on Saturday is not, speakers are not. Um, I ask speakers not to simply give a commercial for whatever it is that you know, they're there representing, and their workshop will not be a commercial for Ecamm Live. What it will be, though, is a talk on getting over anxieties of going live and being on camera and how to improve your comfort level with doing that sort of thing. It's becoming a bigger and bigger part of our life, and I think it's important that more people um, get used to tools that are easy to use. And this is easy to use because it is a Mac app. What makes it, that's what sets it apart from something like OBS Studio, which is also a wonderful product, but it's not Mac software, if you know what I mean. The drag and drop capabilities of it just are not there. It's a lot more technical, and this is a little bit more human. And if you remember my workshop on it last year, which I gave just because I really enjoy using the software, um, uh, I showed how you can create simple scenes solely in Ecamm, and something like these lower thirds that we have here on the bottom left is all completely created in Ecamm. And that was one of the demos I gave. And this countdown scene is all 100% created in Ecamm. Well, except for the piece Love Mac on the left. I did create that in Affinity Designer and brought it in as a graphic. I dragged it in as a graphic, but everything else you see here is all created simply with the tools that Ecamm provides you. So, with all that said, it's fun software to use, and yeah, I do use it, and we do use it. We've been using it for the production desk at Macstock for, gosh, 3-4 years now.
Um, I guess, Mike, we're probably running up to where we should call an end to this. As much fun as we're having, is there anything else though that we haven't talked about specifically now, a month out from Macstock, that folks should know?
There's one thing I want folks to know, and that is Macstock is a 3-day weekend this year. It's designed to be 3 days of workshops, 3 days of sessions, whereas in the past it's always been a 2-day weekend. But this year it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that change up threw off some folks' schedules. And so the one thing I do want people to know, and I have mentioned this in the newsletter a couple times, but I do want people to know that if you can't make it all 3 days, just let me know. I have created custom weekend passes for people who can only make it on Sunday, or can only make it on Friday, or can only make it Saturday and Sunday, that sort of thing. So I have created custom weekend passes for people who can't make it all 3 days. And it's absolutely understandable that that might be the case. So please just reach out to me. Um, e- Even with the discount coupon that's out there. All presenters have a discount coupon. I have a discount coupon, which is Macstock 50 off. That takes $50 off your weekend pass. I take that into account. So if that's $50 off 3 days. So we kind of prorate that coupon to get you the same discount on a 1 or 2 day pass if you can't make it all weekend. So that's something I just wanted people to know, that don't feel like you can't make it because you can't be there all 3 days. If you can only be there one, if you can only be there two, just let me know. We'll make it work for you.
And it'll be worth the trip. Even if you only get there for one day, it'll be worth the trip.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some folks from the Chicago area that can only make it, one day because of work commitments, and they'll be there. They'll be there, and in some cases they're folks new to Macstock, so it'll be exciting to see some new faces there.
Yeah. And I'm going to use that as a segue, and I'm going to take it upon myself to speak for every speaker that's coming. A lot of us you probably know from podcasts, YouTube shows, whatever. And I'm afraid because I've heard it in the past that sometimes that can be intimidating. I have no idea why, because this has to be the least intimidating group of people you ever into, but it still seems to be there. So please don't hesitate to walk up, stick out your hand, introduce yourself. Because the thing that also remember is you're getting to see us, even if you're an active member of like the chats for Mac Voices or Dave Ginsburg's show In Touch with iOS or any of the other shows. Usually you're either a name, and most of the time it's just your first name, or you're a picture that's this big by this big, and you look a lot different in person. So please, do not be intimidated. Come up and say hello. We would love to see you. I don't know of any presenter that bites except maybe Jeff Gamet, and that's a whole nother discussion. So, but even with Jeff, more than likely, Jeff won't shake your hand. He'll give you a hug. And as he always says, hold it uncomfortably long. So just be prepared.
Jeff is such a sweetheart. Um, Folks may not know this, but the very first time I met Barry Folk was at a Microsoft event. It was downtown Chicago. We both happened to be there. I think it was a Microsoft event. I'm pretty sure it was a Microsoft event. We were both there, and I was talking to somebody about something Microsofty, I don't know. And I got this tap on the shoulder. And going along with the tap on the shoulder were the words, "Are you Mike Potter?" That's not something you want to hear when you're at a conference. You don't want to be tapped on the shoulder and have someone say, "Are you Mike Potter?" And you're like, who are you? And why are you tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "Are you Mike Potter?" But it was Barry Folk. And the reason he came over and asked me is because he recognized my voice from my podcast. And so this was almost 20 years ago. And that's how we first met. He heard my voice, he recognized it from the podcast, came over and said hi. And, that's how we became great friends. So uh, there is nobody at Macstock who is unapproachable. You can't sit down to lunch with, you can't sit down and have a drink with in the evening. Nobody. Come say hi. Because you might just
Yes.
you may become that next podcaster. There are people who come to Macstock and have created entire new careers for themselves because of the people that they met there. So please say hi to anyone and everyone and have those conversations because you never, ever know where they're going to lead.
Mike, I think that's the perfect way to wrap it up.
Yep.
Because I agree with everything you just said. So MacstockConferenceandExpo.com is where you go to register to get the hotel information. And now we have a reopened room block. That's exciting. Um, all the details of the speakers are there. All the details of what they're talking about is there. Anything you want to know about Macstock is going to be there. Do it. We want to see you there. Mike, thanks so much for being here. Do you want to let folks know, since you prepared the scenes so well, let people know how they can find you?
Well, thanks for asking, Chuck. Yes, if anyone would like to reach me, you can find me at max.conference.com, for maceyesonly.com, youtube.com/macstock, tooting.ninja/ @macstockexpo, and that big long blue sky one that I'm not even going to try reading all that out. And then, in addition to For Mac Eyes Only, my podcast, there's also youtube.com/FMEOTV. FMEO stands for Mac Eyes Only, FMEO TV. And you'll also find tooting.ninja/@ for Mac Eyes Only. So that's how people can reach me. Chuck, how can folks reach you?
Gee, if I only had a slide. Oh, there we go. Okay. You can reach me at any of these, youtube.com/MacVoices TV, of course, for the videos and for the show. You can find me on LinkedIn, Mastodon, Blue Sky, pretty much all the social medias at Chuck Joyner. I would love to hear from you. And I definitely am looking forward to meeting you at Macstock. So that's it. We're a month out. We will see you, Mike, in a month, and we're going to have just a fantastic weekend.
Absolutely. It's going to be the best Macstock ever. You got to be there. Macstock 9.
Yep, absolutely. Be there. Continue checking out Mac Voices for the road to Macstock. We've got a lot more people to talk to. He's Mike Potter. I'm Chuck Joyner. As always, thanks for watching.
All right. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
And
the rest is history. Go for technology.
Just a little glitch in the bandwidth stats just as we were wrapping up there. So hopefully that came, your wrap up came through. But we're recording on this end. So what I did want to do for anyone watching, if anyone, we had the question from Blake, and we did answer that during the live stream. But if there are any other questions about Macstock that folks have, and you would like me to try to address it if at all possible, just drop it in the chat room. Otherwise, we'll wrap up. So I'll just kind of keep an eye on it here for a second and see if there's any new questions that come in.
Yeah.
Bye, Marty.
Yeah.
But
see you soon, Marty.
Brian stopped in. Good to see you, Brian. Martine had to take off, but it was awesome seeing Martine in there and chatting about his vegetable garden and milkweed and monarchs.
Since obviously the show's over, but for those people who are still here, Mike and I have struggled with when to try to do this if we were going to try to do it live, because we have the U.S. time zones, we have Martine's coming from across the pond. Yeah. It's always a challenge to figure out if you're going to do a live show exactly when. So, and I think if I remember correctly, Mike, you said something about, hey, 1 p.m. Eastern is good enough for Apple.
That's right. That's right.
It's like, okay, that's not a bad place to take your cue from. So if you like this, let us know. If you think there's a better time, let us know, because it is a challenge and we want to involve as many people as possible.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do pay attention to that, and I know Roger does too, because I see Roger in a lot of the live streams that I also watch, and in the chat room, I should say, and a good number of them take place at 11 a.m. and I'm saying Central Time now here as I say these times, but like 11, 12, or 1. Those seem to be the most popular times, and I think that's because you do incorporate that 6-7 hour time difference with Europe and the UK. It doesn't really take into account Japan or Australia or what have you, but that's difficult to schedule around. But it does take into account the West Coast as well, where you've got a 2-hour time difference. So yeah, it seems like that 11, 12 is a good time. And I've said that many, many times before. I said it to you and you just repeated it. But if it's good enough for Apple, it's good enough for me. If they can schedule at noon Central Time, well, gosh darn it, then I can do the same thing. Although I will admit I don't have anywhere near quite the same draw. So
yet.
You're right.
Macstock 11, they're going to be beating down the doors.
That's right. Well, Macstock 10 next year.
Yeah.
Macstock 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we consider that an official announcement?
No.
Okay.
Let's get through 9 first.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask. Goodness.
Oh, hey.
Marty.
We do have a comment from Brian here. Thank you, Brian. This is awesome. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah. And hey, I don't put any hard work. Mike's the one that does the hard work. I just have fun talking to people.
Oh, please.
So Mike gets all the credit
And then
because
Marty did have a
he deserves
question.
it.
He was asking if Martine was talking about a garden or just vegetables. I think it was just vegetables. Yeah, that was. So I don't know what he was doing with vegetables, and I chose not to ask, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't see
All
any
right.
other questions. I really appreciate everyone joining us today. That was awesome. I had a blast. I hope that came across because I really enjoy doing this sort of thing. And I got to get going and do more live streams for Macstock because it's just a lot of fun. I think maybe we should do some sort of live stream. I'll see if I can glom on to Katie and Doc's setup in the Ecamm studios and do something live from Macstock. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you, everyone. Nice to see everyone. We'll see you in a month.
See you in a month. 29 plus days. See you in a month. Bye, everyone. I'm going to throw up an end card and I'll be right with you, Chuck.